Another way to think about this very same sort of prompting is to think about 6 prompts that you could use with any clinician, and this uses the words that clinicians use, so it shouldn't be foreign to them, it should be very easy for them, to identify how well that assessment is translating into a meaningful treatment plan and treatment for your child. So the first thing you'd want to ask is, what is my child's diagnosis? The second is, what maintains this diagnosis? What is it that's keeping this as a concern? Why do these symptoms keep recurring right now? We know that for many concerns, actually, they resolve over relatively short periods of time. Typically, people seek care when they haven't resolved. So what is it that's keeping these concerns or symptoms continuing to reappear, right? Next, what strengths will help my child reach their goals? So what are we going to be developing together in terms of strengths? Specifically, how will the service that's being provided help my child reach this goal? And then the final 2 questions are really about this accountability. What should I expect that you will do so we can achieve this goal in 90 days or less? And then what do we need to do to achieve this goal in 90 days or less, right? And asking those 6 prompts really helps focus the work that's being done, really helps say, we're going to stay committed to working on these things. What is it that you're going to contribute to this? How is it that this is actually going to be something that's helpful in developing my child's strengths, as opposed to simply working on reducing any deficits that they might have? Really, how are we preparing my youth or my child for the life that they're hoping for, right? This is what we have tongue-in-cheek described as the Mad Libs version of the same thing. So what clinicians have that we touched on previously was something called a clinical formulation, which defines for them what the primary concern is and how they think that that's maintained over time, why they think that primary concern keeps happening with you or your child. What we want to figure out is how that changes. So how that concern gets addressed and how your child's able to reach the goals that they're hoping to reach. And so this change statement is a simple, plain English version of what you and the therapist believe is going to be the process for actually achieving your goals, right? So they should be able to put down, and you should be able to write this out based on the treatment plan, working with whoever the person or persons are for how many hours a week at whatever location will help your youth develop, and then what are the strengths that they're going to develop. The person will also help them understand and work through how, and there's the clinical focus of concern, the diagnosis makes me feel and act. And then developing these strengths and working through this diagnosis and its symptoms will help me reach these goals which are important to me. Right? This is a plain English version of a clinical formulation being translated into a treatment plan, right? And you should be able, in going through the treatment plan process, to easily fill this out. If you don't feel confident in filling this out as a result of the treatment planning process, then something has gone awry. It's something to tell you that this has gone off the rails in some way or at some place, right? And identifying where you have a problem filling these things in, or what you feel confident about in each of these fill-ins will let you know where you should be advocating for more information or for more help, or potentially for different services, right, or goals. Now, both the treatment planning pyramid and then something I'm going to go through here in just a moment are available as black and white printable sheets, and they will be made available right after the presentation. So those will will be there for you. This right here, the change statement also is available as a fillable sheet. It's available as a PDF, and that'll be made available at the end of this presentation too. So those are takeaways. If there's anything else from this presentation that you'd like us to create as a single sheet to take away, we're happy to do that too. In terms of this, this checkup, right, this is important in making sure that the treatment plan actually translates into help that's useful. So each week you could ask yourself after, you know, the week is complete or the session is complete, did I get the amount of help that was identified on the treatment plan? So that's your level of care. Do I have a better understanding of how the diagnosis makes my youth feel and act? That's the focus of concern part and the primary diagnosis part. Did we work on developing a listed strength or skill? That's the strengths development part. And do I feel like I'm closer to having these goals met, right? That's the goals part. That change checklist and things like that are likely something that Dr. Fernando, who's a later presenter, will likely address in more depth. But I just want to put that out there as, you know, those are 4 prompts that you can use each week to say, is this treatment planning process translating into something that's actually useful for my child and my family?